Deathkind. In Pieces, Finding the Lady of Sorrow. Mortals have long wished for immortality, but I can assure you that they will regret it. I suppose living forever and ever would be nice if all of your loved ones were immune to death as well. Soulseers are in the unfortunate position of having to watch their family and friends pass on as they linger on the mortal plane. One of the saddest stories that I can recall happened recently. As of today, it hasn't even been 5 years. Raoul, the Soulseer in question, came to me barely able to speak. His fiancée was hit by a stray bullet during a robbery attempt. What made the situation worse was that she was pregnant. There was nothing I could do for him. Dealing with grief is not my area of expertise. I told Raoul to find the Lady of Sorrow. She had the power to give him peace, even with his heart and life in pieces. The catch was this: nobody knew her name. In order to meet with her, he had to call her by name, and I couldn't tell him what it was. I'm not allowed to. Most of those who seek the Lady of Sorrow never find her. Her name is uncommon, and anyone who guesses right will forget it as soon as their meeting is over. I suppose it should be that way. People need to learn to deal with their pain instead of trying to bury it or run from it. Raoul was one of the lucky ones. He told me that he was at the bus station and saw a flyer with the name Josephine printed on it. Someone had scribbled over the first two letters and left Sephine. That's her name. He said it out loud, and she came to him. He explained what happened to his dearly departed, and Sephine offered him a choice. He could place his burden on her and never feel a twinge of pain again, or he could keep his sorrow and learn to live with it. He chose to keep it. It was a wise choice. She explained to him that she could only bear the weight of one person's grief at a time. If she carried his, no one else would have the chance to be relieved. When Raoul made his choice, the Lady of Sorrow became the Lady of Solace. I've witnessed the transformation once, and it was beautiful. She usually looks very pale and thin with black hair. She radiates comfort and warmth when her other self takes over. The Lady of Solace looks young, healthy, and vibrant. Soulseers can see all post-mortals, but all post-mortals are not allowed to wander around freely. After trial, Soulseers have no further contact with the random ghosts who annoy them or with their deceased near and dear, unless they are declared pardoned or neutral. Raoul's fiancée was judged positive. Good for her. The Lady of Solace allowed them to spend some time together and say a formal goodbye. I believe Raoul will be judged positive and be able to see her again when his life ends. It's a beautiful thing. He can request her as his reward. Beautiful. Things worked out great for Raoul's lost love, but it doesn't go well for all. Those who are judged negative get to spend eternity in misery. Serves them right, though. You can't just be an asshole your whole life and expect no consequences. For those who aren't good enough to be considered positive or bad enough to be declared negative, they get stuck in purgatory. Neutral postmortals spend forever after wandering around doing nothing. They receive no reward or punishment, but are allowed to mingle with mortals. Some of them haunt their former homes, much to the dismay of the new residents. I know a neutral named Bart, who haunted his previous address for years. That is, until a family moved in who didn't scare easily. I thought it was hilarious. He did all the usual thumps, bumps, messages on the mirror, and knocking things over. They didn't care. That foolishness didn't end until the youngest child asked him his name. He told her his name was Bart. Perhaps as a joke, the oldest daughter wrote on the mirror, "Home is where the Bart is." Very clever and very funny. He left them alone after that and just accepted their presence. Neutrals are pretty benign as far as intruding ghosts go, but the pardoned are a different story. I don't like that they exist, but I don't make the rules. They don't have the freedom of neutrals, but are more powerful, especially when it comes to haunting the living.